How you going, people? This will be a video on search warrants and just some input. Somebody sent me this warrant. It's 130. How many pages is it? Oh, hell, it usually says. Oh, 137 pages long. So this is a pretty long warrant, and I haven't even gone through it yet. But I'm going to go through it and read it. Now, a lot of this is going to be kind of repetitive, but they name a lot of people, and this is how they get your internet information. And if somebody's doing a warrant, they could probably cut and paste some of this language because whoever did the warrant did a pretty good job from what I saw. I only read the first 2 or 3 pages. So, and I don't know if it gets down at the end here, if it's like just like a return or something. Currently, okay, pretty stinking long. So let's start at the beginning. Here we go. So grab a cup of coffee. I got a cup of tea. And we'll start looking at this affidavit. So it looks like the warrant was from state of Texas in the county of, I guess that's Bear County. It may be something else. I'm going to assume it's Bear. And they're serving the warrant on Google and Mountain View because this is the address of Google's main home office. So that's who they're serving the warrant on. Now, it's going to be an electronic or email warrant to where they mail it to them, but this is the address that they can consider service. They're probably going to fax it to them or email them. But however they got the warrant, there's the address of Google. And it gives their address here in Mountain View, California. There is a suspected place described as and located as follows. Okay, sometimes the legal wording, people try to seem like lawyers or they cut and paste. I knocked out a lot of for to and here to and pray. They used to say, I pray that you issue a warrant to the judges. I knocked all that out of my warrants. Some people still put them in because that's the way they were taught, and that's the way, if you look at an example, probably how the penal code is what it gives you, but it doesn't have to be that way. All right, at said place you shall search for, and if same be found, seize and bring before me the property described in the affidavit for Google Inc. /user names. So he's going to list the screen name of James Freeman. Is this the guy that I did a video on that is the auditor? And I kind of said he was kind of being a jerk to that one cop that was pretty nice. I don't know if that's a different James Freeman or that's the same name. So this is the URL associated with this name. So they give Google, when I tell Google, I want you to give me all the information associated with a user, I have to give them the URL, so they'll punch that up. It's believed to be associated with a James Springer. I don't know if James Springer is, when I first read that, I saw it as Jerry Springer. I was like, what the hell, they're going after Jerry Springer? But anyway, James Springer could be an AKA of this guy, or he could be using that as an alias of James. I don't know why they put this associated. But again, I'm going to read this warrant, and I'm going to go through the questions in my mind and explain to you how and why this is. Okay, this is contained within a suspect premises. Okay, they're saying that we think the information is contained at the location they're serving a warrant, which is Google. All records concerning identity of the specific screen name, James Freeman, there's his URL, also known as James Springer, to include subscriber registration information, meaning when James opened the account, what was his registration? All screen names that he uses, so all associated accounts. Users' names associated with these accounts. Passwords associated. People be like, well, Google don't keep your password. You're a freaking idiot. When I do an email search for Yahoo or Gmail or any of them, I get your password, but I digress. Passwords associated with these accounts, emails associated with these accounts, all IP addresses and logs associated. Now, when they say all IP, they're looking at every time this user logged in, it recorded the IP. So if he went overseas, etc., you can use this information to track a person by doing a warrant on their information if you're trying to see where they went and where they accessed computer and where their phone logged in and where their cell tower was. So that's why all this information is being requested. Any and all messages and comments sent or received by James Freeman associated with this blah blah blah. So including the subject line, date, time stamps. They want all the date, time stamps on the date and everything, because sometimes when you do warrants on businesses like this, they will sometimes make it short and sweet, and if you don't put it in here, they won't give it to you. So they'll do the abbreviated version and won't give you dates and times, or they won't give you other information and say, hey, you know what, you didn't request it. If you want it, do another warrant. So that's why they tend to cover everything. So he wants all timestamps. He wants all credit card information. So if somebody sent him money, if he sent money, if he paid a bill, they're going to get the credit card information, etc. They're going to get that by running his credit report anyway. Sign-in IP addresses associated with stamps, video and photo uploads to this IP. Man, if they ever do a search warrant on me for all my uploads, woo, they're going to have a lot of data. Associated timestamps, copies of all videos and photos associated with video, photo information, email content, and the user association data stored. Meaning we want everything you got on this guy. So, number 4, said suspect is in charge of and controlled by each of the following purposes: Google, legal, investigative support. So what Google has done is said, if you send us warrants, we want it sent to Google Legal Investigative Support, 1600, whatever. Number 5, it is the belief of the affiant, that means the guy writing a warrant, the cop writing a warrant, and he hereby charges and accuses, this is some legal mumbo jumbo, that James Springer committed the offense of obstruction or retaliation in violation of Penal Code 36.06, a felony. Now, I didn't look up 36.06, but obstruction or retaliation, why don't we pause and go look at that? Hang on. Okay, quick Google search of that penal code says obstruction or retaliation under section 36 Penal Code. One commits the offense of obstruction or retaliation when he or she intentionally, so they have to prove intent. This isn't general intent, this specific intent crime. When he or she intentionally, and I don't know why they're just using he or she, that's going to be offensive to somebody who doesn't associate or identify as a he or she. Penal code's wrong. Anyway, so if I don't identify as he or she, this penal code doesn't apply to me. He or she intentionally threatens to harm a witness, public servant, I mean, you can't threaten to harm public servant. All those public servants that are serving us, don't threaten to harm them. An informant or a prospective witness who has or intends to report a crime to the authorities. So that's 36.06, and that's what they're getting this warrant for. And they're going after him for this. So, back to the warrant. We're at 36.0.7. Affiant has probable cause for said belief by reason of the following. Wow. I'd have just put affiant has probable cause. But anyway, or a lot of times I'll just put a separate heading that says probable cause statement and then start. A, you're affiant. Detective Terry Brooks, badge number 521, peace officer, state of California, employed by the Leon Valley Police Department. Your affiant has been assigned as a detective since 2004. Your affiant has extensive training experience in investigating property crimes, financial crimes, illegal narcotic crimes, person crimes, child abuse crimes, and child pornography crimes. Now, some people will say, what does child pornography crimes have to do with threatening a witness? Anytime you give your hero statement, and I'm not sure, this isn't really what I would consider as hero, maybe it is a hero statement, where you kind of justify why you want to list all your training so it gives credibility to why you believe what you believe. If you have a strong case, you don't have to really justify a whole bunch because anybody can read it and go, well, that's pretty easy to connect the dots. But if you're getting in a complex crime, you better show where you have specific knowledge of those crimes. He didn't put he has extensive experience in investigating crimes of obstruction or retaliation. I'm going to go ahead and add that, or I would have put in there, since this is an obstruction retaliation case, I would have probably added, I've investigated, 48 cases of obstruction, or 20 cases of obstruction or something, to connect my experience with this investigation. Because a lot of this experience really doesn't tie to obstruction or retaliation. I mean, he could say, if I was a defense attorney questioning this guy, I'd be like, you said you have financial crimes. How does financial crimes have to do with obstruction retaliation? And the cop, if he was on the ball, would be like, well, in my experience, all investigations can lead to retaliation or obstruction because during an investigation, I'll instruct witnesses not to talk to other witnesses, or the case is being sealed by a judge, so I'll tell them not to discuss it, and then they will notify somebody through a third party, which will end up being a retaliation or obstruction charge. So there's a lot of charges where I've dealt with, or a lot of cases where I've dealt with obstruction and retaliation offenses where I didn't necessarily charge them or got a search warrant, but I understand that obstruction and retaliation means anybody that can intimidate a witness or try to obstruct my investigation through intimidating a witness or threatening somebody to change their possible testimony, or to change an officer's ability to investigate a crime without fear of threat. That's what I would end up saying if they asked me about that. But, a defense attorney can ask what he wants. I can wiggle around, and make the detective look dumb, or I can make the prosecution or the defense look a little stupid. It's a word game. Let's see. On 2018, your affiant received a request from Leon Valley Detective Muniz to prepare a search warrant requesting information. So it sounds like this detective is doing a case, and they sent it to this detective because he does warrants with Google and these other places. So it's like, dude, can you do me a warrant on this guy, Freeman, since you do warrants? And this guy went, shit, man, why don't you do your own damn warrant? And then he said, look, man, we're working together, and the sergeant wants you to, all right, I'll do it. So then Terry got stuck with doing a warrant. And I'm just guessing on how that happened. I don't know these guys. I just know how cop shit works. Anyway, warrant requesting information on above YouTube accounts. On 6/18 and the days leading up to, 2 YouTube accounts, Clash with Boa and James Freeman, were observed live streaming themselves and other individuals who were involved in similar activity in and around the city of Leon Valley. They have to connect it to their jurisdiction. YouTube is a publicly accessible website. During the live stream of these 2 account holders, their viewers, now they're going after the viewers, were posting comments in reference to the live stream. Is that a crime? Maybe. If and buts coconuts, we'll see. Comments included numerous threats made toward law enforcement. So can you hold the account guy who's live streaming responsible for what other people are posting? Not no, but hell no. They have no control over what they're doing. Now, they may say you shoulda, coulda, woulda deleted it, and because you allowed it, you were encouraging it, but that ain't going to hold no damn weight. So far, I'm confused on how these guys are being looked at as threats if the posters are. And again, this is why you read a warrant. This is what I'm doing what a judge is supposed to do. If I'm reading a warrant, you've got to make me understand and convince me that what you're asking to search is reasonable. And that's why I'm running through this, but it takes time. During the live stream of these 2 accounts, or other viewers posting reference live stream, comments included numerous threats made toward law enforcement. So, I don't like law enforcement. Is that a threat? I don't care if law enforcement goes out there and gets their ass run over on a highway because they're stupid enough to walk in front of a car. I don't care. Is that a threat? Is that impeding their investigation? Well, in today's age, it ain't no damn telling because government's out of control. But I digress. Let's get back to live stream viewers. On these accounts, we're also posting the resident address and personal information of the Leon police chief and his family members. Is that a crime? So far, I'm not seeing a crime. Maybe there's a crime that you can't give out the address of a police officer. In California, you can't give out of a political person. They've made it a law to where if you give out the address of an elected public official, it's a crime. So I don't know if maybe Texas has extended that to you can't give out cops' addresses, or you can't give out police chiefs' addresses, or you can't give out family members. Because we always need more laws, so we need more government to enforce the laws and to collect more taxes and steal from the taxpayers. But I digress. I'm trying to stay on this warrant. This, again, I'm talking out loud so you understand how my little mind works. This appears to be, okay, now this is where it gets in an opinion. And when you give an opinion, it's going to go back to your experience and why your opinion is valid. I don't care. This guy does all this experience in investigating probable crimes. If he has an opinion on how a motor runs, it has absolutely nothing to do with his experience. So his opinion holds no weight. His opinion only holds weight if he can connect it to his prior training and experience. Then that's how he gets qualified as an expert, or his opinion means something. This appeared to be in retaliation for previous arrests of the individuals. So far what I got is they're saying because the viewers gave out this information on these guys are being appeared to be retaliation for previous arrests. I call BS. I don't believe that, or he didn't make it clear. Now again, somebody's going to go, man, you misrepresented. My job when I write a warrant is to paint a picture and make it clear. So not only the DA that approves the warrant understands it, the judge that signs it understands it, and when I'm in court, the defense attorney reads it and says, he made it pretty clear, I can't poke holes in it. I'm poking holes in this, and I'm only in the first freaking paragraph of a 137-page document. Maybe all my holes I'm poking in will be cleared up in the next 136 pages. I don't know. Okay, may begin obstruction, retaliation. So they started this investigation based on viewers' comments. It's kind of BS. I don't know why they're targeting these guys. Why aren't they targeting the viewers? Why aren't they going after the people that made the comments? Why are they targeting the people who were live streaming? I didn't see the live stream. Maybe the live stream was encouraging people to give their address. Maybe they asked for their address to be given. That's why you got to be careful on what you say and how you say it when you do videos, because it'll come back and bite you. 2 individuals were identified and believed to be in control of the above accounts. So it sounds like maybe the people in control of these 2 accounts were making the threatening information and gave out the information. But again, I'm not clear. I'm asking questions. The clash with Boa and the YouTube account to believe in control of Bo, Try, Nijon, and then they box something out here. And the James Freeman YouTube channel is to believe in control of James Springer. Jerry Springer out there causing up problems. During the above-mentioned live streaming, the account associated with James Freeman had personal residence address of the chief of police published in his live stream feed. There you go. Now he tied it together. So do you see how my questions are reasonable? And that's why when you're writing a warrant, you have to be able to say, okay, I said this, I better make sure and clarify this. And I said this, I better make sure and clarify. So far, I'm okay. I mean, the warrant's going pretty good. He's clearing up some of my questions. I'm just not sure, is it a crime to give out the address of the chief of police? The chief of police goes to public meetings. He has a driver's license. He's a public employee. Why is his address why is he fearful of the people that he's supposed to be in charge of? I don't get that. I don't like that people can give out my address, but if I'm a public employee, they can't give it out. Either everybody's address is protected or nobody's protected. And that's in my little world, but you know me. I'm freaking anti-government. So let's see. Joseph published it live stream. As a result of the threats toward law enforcement, first of all, I didn't see threats. I would have put in here in a little note the comments that were being made, either a screenshot or a photo. I like to put photos in my warrants or exhibits. I would have put Exhibit 1A shows the threats that were being made. So the judge or the DA can flip to that exhibit and see, oh, right here it says, I'm going to go to the chief and blow his head off. Or I want the chief and I want to burn down his house. Or I want everybody to go buy gasoline and burn down the chief's house. A picture's worth 1,000 words. Take a freaking screenshot of that and attach it in your affidavit so you know, and it makes the judge, it paints a clear picture. It also, the jury is going to be reading this warrant and see this warrant, and they're going to see that. And the DA may not be able to get something in, but if it's attached to your warrant, you may be able to get it in because it's part of your warrant. Or the public can get this warrant because it's a public document, and then it becomes public information, and then it gets out that way. So I know I'm giving cops tips here, and I'm giving good guys how to beat cops here, but I'm just telling you how the system works, guys. You can hang around and listen out. We're at 20 minutes, and we're on page 2 of 8, but there's 137 pages in this, and I don't know where it goes because I'm reading this for the first time. Okay. Mention live stream James Freeman. As a result, the threats toward law enforcement and the posting of law enforcement personnel information on above YouTube channels and above listed individuals were arrested for obstruction. Wow. Law enforcement personnel information on the above listed YouTube channels, personal information, the above listed individuals were arrested. Okay, so they arrested these guys for obstruction. So they had probable cause to arrest, and they arrested them. Again, on this right here, I would have attached the arrest report. I would have attached the probable cause statement for the arrest and see arrest report number, and I would have referenced the report number, and I would have been attached and is now part of this warrant Exhibit C. And now I would have that attached to my warrant. And maybe these 137 pages is that. I don't know. But it's not referenced here, so I don't know to look for it. Again, when I make my warrants, I want it to be a roadmap of what the hell my little brain is thinking and where it's going. On 223 in Bojack County, we're outside the Leon Valley Police Department. Similar activity with numerous other individuals. Prior to the arrest, law enforcement officers learned that Bo and Jimmy, along with other individuals at the scene, were live streaming their individual YouTube channels. So, that's not a crime. During their similar activity, Leon Valley police officers arrested Springer. When they were arrested, they attempted to identify other individuals who appeared to be live streaming. So, what does that have to do with the warrant? I'm not sure why this is in here. But, and again, if I have this question, when you're writing it, you need to put, why is this in here? Maybe it'll clear it up as I beat one. I am requesting a search warrant of the listed suspect Google YouTube accounts. James Freeman, URL. Because, man, this warrant is really hard to follow. Because I believe that messages and comments contained within will show evidence of the listed suspect's involvement in the offense. In my experience, corresponding email between suspects and others may contain information. That's true. Crooks communicate with each other. They communicate via text, via email, and via phone calls. So therefore, I'd be wanting their email accounts, their phone numbers, and any text that they have. And I don't know if he put that in or not. It looks like he just went for Google. If he wants those texts, what he can do is do a piggyback warrant. Say I want the text, attach this warrant saying this is a piggyback warrant for their phone and their text and their email accounts, and here's the warrant information. Then he doesn't have to redo and rewrite all this. Any communications within the real residing information. It is also possible that the suspect may have uploaded pictures. Well, just because it's possible, I mean, you can say that. Remember, the standard for a warrant is you have to have a fair probability that you will find evidence. Instead of saying it's possible a suspect, in my experience and in the past, I know suspects tend to upload pictures of themselves and other identifying information that could lead to an ID. I would have worded it that way. I'm not saying this guy's wrong or I'm right. I'm just giving you my opinion, people. Take it easy. I know everybody's just, there's some freaking guy that hates me because I crack on cops. They want to come here. You don't know what you're talking about. By nature, Google being website, internet service, it is realized that many other individual, organized business, other entities utilize company services have no association with the subject investigation. These other unnamed individual organizations, businesses, and other entities may have various amounts of information maintained in various forms with Google Inc. with reasonable expectation of privacy. It is affiance intent that the search conducted at Google Inc. to be as least intrusive as possible. I don't understand. Why would you write that? Are you trying to gain favor with the judge or the jury because they're like, oh, he said it's least and true? You just asked for every IP he's logged in, his credit card information, his name and everything, and now you're saying, well, I want this search to be as least intrusive as possible. To complete the search as it relates to above listed user and email address associated with the described offense only. Further, it is the intent to use whatever means or methodology on hand to conduct this search with limited and no interruption of service provided. Okay, so what he's saying here is I don't want these guys' accounts shut down. And I think he could have been clearer. I would have, that's exactly what I would have said. This warrant should not be construed that I want these users shut down. As a matter of fact, I'd have probably put, I do not want them shut down because this is an ongoing investigation and I have reason to believe they are continuing to communicate, and because it's an ongoing investigation, it's probably an ongoing criminal offense, which means I have an ongoing crime, and shutting down this account would obstruct my investigation. I would have made it clear that way. Let's see. Methodology on hand to conduct a search limited not to service provided to unnamed individuals. It is for these reasons that affiant request that Google Inc. locate and isolate the above named information on their servers and make a copy of such information in a readable format to provide to affiant for review as part of this investigation. Man, that's a difficult statement. Let's see. It is these reasons the affiant requests Google locate and isolate. I mean, what's he asking for in that convoluted statement? Please make a copy of all information in a readable format and provide for my review for the investigation. I mean, look, cops sometimes like to make their warrants look like they're complicated and put all this legalese crap because some attorney told them or because they're cutting and pasting from the last guy. Make your warrant simple. Use the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. I seek authorization from civilian assistance from Google Inc. representatives in the execution of this search warrant because, now, what he's saying here is the judge, because he's not actually doing a search. And when a judge signs a warrant to do a search, he actually signs ordering the peace officer to do the search. And a lot of times he'll allow the peace officer to have other peace officers assist him. But if you're not using government, and this comes in that if I'm doing a warrant on a burglary and I find a fencing house or a fencing business and they have all this stolen crap, I want a warrant to go in and search for the stolen scrap, but I want the judge to say, I want the victims of crimes in the area that may have property in here to be able to come in and look through the items and identify their property on scene. And that way I can bring victims in to look through all the crap and they can say, oh, that's mine, and that's mine, and although my grandmother gave me this, because sometimes, you know, if they identify a necklace with a special thing, it's got all this sentimental value, it just looks like another necklace to a cop. But if you let the victim come in, they can identify it better. I digress. We're still on Google. Okay, so basically he's saying here, Judge, I want the detectives to assist me. Shall disclose, and I want them to respond here using U.S. Postal or other courier service or by email, notwithstanding 18. I wonder if he's talking about Title 18. 18 U.S. Code 2252A, similar statute code. I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure why he even put that in there, and I'm not sure why he. If he's basically said deliver it to me anyway, I just need a hard copy. But instead, he lists the post office, other courier service, so he can use UPS or FedEx, or he can email it to me. Maybe he didn't want it in a text. I don't know, but I don't understand this problem for that. Furthermore, it is ordered that this search warrant and application be sealed until otherwise ordered by the court, and that its agents and employees shall not disclose the existence of the order. Now, we called this a seal or a Hobbs sealing on our warrants, and normally I would put a separate heading requests for sealing or seals for hire warrant, etc. And I would make this a separate section. And in California, the judge has to actually initial off on this because this just becomes part of the warrant. And he really doesn't say, well, maybe he does, disclosure of the existence of this retaliation investigation to any person unless and until otherwise ordered by the court. Such disclosure could give the subscriber an opportunity to destroy evidence. Okay, so he did do it. Normally, you have to justify why you want a warrant sealed, and he did at the end. He wants, basically, I would have put this as, I request a sealing not to disclose, and all persons who have knowledge of this and anybody working on an investigation is ordered not to discuss, disclose, or in any way notify the subscribers. And then I would put, the reason I'm requesting this is because any notification could obstruct the investigation and allow the suspects to destroy evidence, notify Confederates, flee, or continue his flight from prosecution if they're flying. It doesn't sound like anybody has flight from prosecution, and he put in here flight from prosecution, continue flight. So far, I haven't seen where he said anybody is flight. This is where you get into where you cut and paste, and he probably forgot to delete that or forgot to change that or whatever. Let's see. All information noted in this fine for search warrant has been related by persons or sources attributed to reverence. The client further believes that in good faith and that the information provided hereon to be true and correct, because the sole purpose of this affidavit is to establish probable cause that a criminal offense has occurred. Well, you already arrested him, so you already had probable cause that there was offense because you arrested him. So the sole purpose of this affidavit is not to establish probable cause that a criminal offense has occurred. You've already established that because you arrested him. Defense attorney should be eating them up on this, but let's see. Not every relevant fact known to me or other investigations included. Okay, I'm okay with that statement because sometimes defense attorney, well, did you know this? Well, why didn't you put it in a warrant? Well, I put in a warrant that not every fact, I couldn't put everything I knew. I didn't think it was relevant. Well, looking back now, do you think it was relevant? Well, it couldn't have hurt. I like to make my warrants have everything rather than short because then they can't fight it. Warrants are very hard to overturn, which is why cops usually do crappy, what I call shitty warrants, because they cut corners, they cut and paste, and they don't care because they're rarely ever overturned. But if your case turns out to be big and you end up hitting some big multinational terrorist counterfeiter, some big crime larb, you get into some mafia RICO case, and now they want to use your shit because you did a shitty warrant, you look bad, you make the department look bad, and it's not good police work. Do your job right. Take the time it takes less time. Wherefore art thou, Romeo? Based on the facts, circumstances, the training of the affidavit, and the information noted in this document, affiant asks for issuance of a warrant that will authorize him to search any and all items listed above. Okay, and he signs it. District, who's this guy? The judge signs it. Maybe they don't have to have their DA assigned. District Court, 186 District Court. Judge Mira. So the judge signed it. I don't see where a DA reviewed the warrant. Normally DAs review warrants because they have to defend them in court. So they want to see them before they see it for the first freaking time when they're in court. They're picking a jury and now their warrant sucks. And they're like, I'm going to lose everything. All right, let's see. Google. This is where he lists everything that he wants them to find. Wherefore, let's see. James Freeman. And here's what he's asking for. Subscriber information, all screen names, users names, passwords, emails, IP address, credit card. Basically everything he already said, he just put in a list. Furthermore, order pursuant to Texas Penal Code, property seized in this warrant until further the court grants you leave and authority to remove such seized property from the county if and only if such removal is necessary for the safekeeping or seizure. So they're going to, basically they can carry it or use it in their investigation. I'm not sure why they put that in. There has to be a reason. I don't think I've ever put that in that I can run around. If I seize something, it's in my control. I can either book it into evidence. I can sign it out of evidence. I can do what I want. So I'm not sure why that's in there, but could be a Texas thing. I don't know. Herein, fail not. What the hell does that mean? I guarantee you somebody's been putting that shit since the 1800s when they wrote a warrant and nobody's decided that, do we really need this? Herein, fail not But have you then and there this warrant within 3 days, exclusive of the day of his issuance and exclusive of the day of his execution, with your return thereon, showing how you executed the same warrant. I think this says you need to serve the warrant within 3 days, but I'm not real sure. I'd have to get a legal opinion on that. Return inventory. 16 out. The undersigned, fine peace officer, blah, blah. This date, it looks like what he did is he's got the return warrant ready to where all he has to do is put in what he found. That's what it looks like, because it's not signed, it's not done. I certify, let's see here. A fine affidavit for search warrant, the suspect, screenshot. So now we're going after all these other people. Screen name, Ethics Instead. Screen name, Ohio Guardian. Screen name, News Now Houston. Screen name, Buckeye in the Sky. Screen name, we call that a clue. Think like a cop. Think like a horse. What am I doing in here? All right, let's see. There is contained said suspect permit, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we got more screen names. Ethics, Ohio Garden. All concerned records. So they want everybody. Whoa. News Now, Buckeye, Ethics Instead. To subscriber information, all screen names, etc. So they're just relisting what they said, relisting that the guy is doing this. I'm looking for some meat here. Towards law enforcement, describe. That's the same thing he put before. Your identity of the individual believes listed. Same he's put before. Ohio Guardian, News Now, Buckeye News. Let's see. By nature, Google website. I'm hoping this warrant's unsealed because somehow somebody sent it to me. So I've got a copy of this. I don't know who sent it to me. But let's see here. He asked for sealing. Search warrant, subscriber information, Ethics Now. With regards to Ohio Guardian. Now he's just listing everything he wants from each person. Maybe Google requires that. If you do, they won't let you do. We want all this on all these informations. Maybe you have to list them forward. Maybe this guy does it that way. I don't know why this is. Further, you are ordered pursuant to provision Article 1810 of Texas Penal Code of Criminal Procedures to regain custody of property. Herein fail not. But have you then and there this warrant. That is the most crazy statement I think I've ever seen a warrant. Within 3 days, exclusive to the day of the issuance, exclusive to the day of the execution, with your return, therefore. Maybe you have 3 days to redo a return. Maybe they're saying you have 3 days to do a return after your search warrant. I don't freaking know. Here's the blank so they can get the return. Let's see. Somebody at this church signed this. Texas Google Inc. The undersigned peace officer being sworn certifies the execution. So there's no date. If there's no date, why is somebody signing it? What the hell's going on there? Damn fraud in Texas. Crazy ass. All right, let's see. Investigation, Google investigative. Now we're after clash with a BOA. Contained. Believed. Hereby charges and accuses. This is the same. I mean, I don't know why this is on 37 pages. He just says the same thing over and over. Contained will show evidence the suspect involved in the offense in my experience. Positive indication. By nature, Google website. It's the same. The hell? What, you gotta do it? A different warrant for each person? Is that what I'm seeing here? Safekeeping. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I can't. Now, see, this is more what warrants I look like because I put headings. Affidavit, search warrant, or my sealing request if I wanted night service, if I wanted to be able to answer the phones. I've got a copy of my warrant on my website where it shows all that. Let's see. The Bexar County. So this is a cell phone, model Z98. It gives the number, the cell phone number, 320-284-337925. That sounds like, oh, that's a serial number. Let's see. There is a suspect constituting evidence of offense of harassment of a public servant. Man, if anybody being harassed, it's Google and freaking all these YouTubers. Really? Because somebody gave out a chief's address and made a threat? Now, again, after reading all this, I still don't know what the threat is. I still have no clue what the threat is. If I was a judge, I'd be like, what the hell did they threat? It is your belief that the offense of harassment of public service, criminal trespassing, and resisting arrest was committed on 2 May. Your finding is probable cause, said belief, reason following facts. Detective Leon assigned a criminal investigation, aggravated assaults on a peace officer, deadly conduct, injury to elderly and disabled. What? Is this assigned to criminal investigations? Tasked with the investigation of incidents. Okay. Your finding has read the preliminary investigation report by Officer Ferris, Leon Valley. Officer Ferris reported that the suspect identified as Jesus, I know it's Jesus, whatever, referred to as the defendant, entered city offices. The defendant was video recording his entry, employees by using his listed cell phone and GoPro. So what? Where's the crime? The defendant left City Hall. When the defendant was approached by an officer, advised he was in a non-public restricted area. Oh, they try. See, there's some law in Texas to where cops like to use this crap. Public buildings are public and you can film, but sometimes if there's a public hall next to a courthouse, they want to say it's not public because courthouses aren't public or something. There's some wiggle room BS. And if that's all you have to arrest somebody for filming, that's BS. Some judge ought to just spank these officers and go, you know what? Get the hell out of here. They were filming in a public place. It's public if you can walk in without going through a locked door or having to be buzzed in. If you have to go through a locked door or somebody has to let you in, then it's not public. But public is where you can walk in, and Texas has put some damn laws on the books furthering restricted freedom because of the liberal lefts in freaking Austin and San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas trying to screw up the damn country from the damn California New Yorkers moving here. They've screwed it all up, and now they're getting all these damn liberal, stupid laws so they can arrest citizens for bullshit. But I digress. Let me get back to this shit. The defendant continued to video record his encounter and began cursing and yelling at the Bleon City peace officer. Ooh, he cursed at him and yelled at him. Ooh, police officer, you can't talk to them that way. They can yell and scream and point guns at you and shoot your car up and do all that, but you can't curse or yell at them. Can anybody say we're living in a freaking police state more and more each day? This is freaking BS, man. This ain't the Texas I grew up in, I guarantee you. The defendant was told numerous times to leave the restricted area. Now, to me, restricted area is not defined very well here. If I was writing this, I'd be like, he was asked to leave the restricted area. The restricted area was restricted by signs, by a locked door, by a sign that said no entry to the public. It was clearly marked. The suspect or defendant entered when someone who was authorized went through the door, and he grabbed the door and forced it open and then walked in and then refused to leave. Now, I'm okay with that. But that's not clear to me here. And I mean, again, I've got to figure out when I'm reading this, because I wasn't there, what the hell went on. And these cops are writing this shit like a nighttime storybook they're telling to their kid to get them to fall asleep. What the hell happened? Give me some facts. I'm sorry. Leon Valley, I'm sure you guys are doing a great job, and I'm just being mean. Let's see. Uniform advised the defendant that he was under arrest for criminal trespass. The defendant kept screaming. Okay. Is there a law that you can't scream after you're told you're under arrest? I'm just confused here, because you made a point of saying it. The defendant kept screaming, "Don't touch me." During the arrest, the defendant struggled, pulling his... Okay, so now he's trying to justify the resistance. He was told he was under arrest for trespass. He screamed, "Don't touch me," and he pulled away. Okay? He swung his arms and elbows, striking the officer that was trying to arrest him. Maybe he was resisting because of an unlawful arrest. The problem with resisting an unlawful arrest is you have to prove it was unlawful. And a lot of times, that's very, very hard to do, because tie goes to government. Tie always goes to government. Hell, even when government loses, it goes to government. The office manager, or the officer managed to get... See, the officer, if that would have been capitalized, I might have caught that. I thought it was like office manager. Anyway, the officer managed to get the defendant restrained on the ground. However, during a struggle, The defendant spit at the officer, getting the defendant's saliva on his hands and arms. Well, did he spit, or was he yelling and you were grabbing him around the throat and he couldn't breathe, and as he was choking and coughing, spit flew out? Because that's what I'm seeing on videotape, but I haven't seen a video on this. So if it's in a building and the officer had his cam on, this ought to be pretty easy to prove. Again, I would have attached a copy, or I would have done a screenshot of the spit flying from my camera and said, you can see this in the picture exhibit D attached from the officer's body cam. And I would have actually did a freeze frame and took a screenshot of the spit flying. That would have been me. Again, I like to make my shit so anybody can figure it out. I put it down to the dumbest person. Remember, I got freaking DAs and judges reviewing this. They are not the sharpest tools in the shed. You gotta write it like you're writing for a 5th grader so they understand it. Rick, you can't say that. Some judge, shut up, you freaking crybabies. Okay, other officers arrived and the defendant was handcuffed. It was during this time officers realized the defendant was video recording. So, the entire event, streaming it live. So, then there ought to be good evidence for you. Using the listed devices transmitting live images. The client believes data and images on the device contained evidence. Oh, great. Okay, so he just tied it together. So the questions I had, he just cleared up. He's asking for the videotape because it was live streamed and they want to see what was on the live stream to compare with what they got. Maybe there's better evidence on their live stream than what their camera caught. The above devices are currently in possession of the Leon Valley property room. Your client believes search of the describes of the things will constitute evidence of the offense of harassment of a public servant. I can't even believe there's a crime harassment, man. Criminal trespassing, resisting arrest was committed on their belt. Your client further believes a specific offense, harassment of public service, has been committed and that the items described constitute search and seizure to locate. Okay, you have to have a crime in order to collect a warrant, or you have to have an investigation of a crime in order to seek evidence of that crime. So somehow, again, it's not very clear as I'm reading this, this was justification that the crime did occur, and we believe that this person committed the crime, and we believe that evidence of that crime is located in this video that is stored on your server. To me, that just sounds clearer than whatever the hell I just read. But whatever. I'm sure Leon Valley is going to be freaking hating me now. Well, you cracking on our warrant, man. You're supposed to be a cop. What about the Blue Brotherhood? Why ain't you? Shut up. I don't give a shit about all that crap. About holding government accountable. You can't do your job right, then I'm going to call you out. Let's see. Your fine signature, where to, herefore, how thou, what the hell, therefore, this day described, defiant, hereby incorporated herein, all purposes, whereas I find the fact stated in the fine has the affidavit shown the fine has probable cause to believe expressed herein and establishes the existence of proper grounds of the issuance of this warrant. You are therefore commanded to seize and search the suspected thing described as follows. Cell phone. You want to search cell phone. For the following items: visual material, multimedia, video recordings, images capable of being displayed, video screen, stored media device, mobile. This is everything you want to find. So these are the things that you can cut and paste when you're doing warrants. These are the things that really aren't critical. They're just so you don't miss items. And I put those on my warrant on my website that, you know, if you're looking for drugs, if you're looking for scales, P&O sheets, syringes, items to use drugs. If you're doing a drug warrant, you want to copy all that so you don't miss. If you're doing a phone warrant, you probably want to copy all this. If you're doing a computer warrant, you want to copy for computers. Let's see. I'm on page 32, people. 48 minutes. Peace officer under. So now we want to search a camera. Looks like. And a cell phone. This isn't the suspected thing. Items constituting evidence of the offense. Harassment. Visual media to wit. Alright, we're repeating all that crap. Undersigned posted. This is not a public. Oh, hang on. You're fine, blue sorry, fine. Defendant entered this Leon Valley. The defendant was videotaping his entry and encountered employees. By using the listed cell phone camera and GoPro was attached to his head. The defendant left the City Hall public lobby and entered a restricted area and said, how the hell is it restricted? I mean, why wouldn't somebody define? Okay, hang on. There were signs posted. This was not public. Okay, great. And again, see Exhibit D, photo of the sign. I would attach a photo of the sign in my warrant. Make it simple. Make it clear. If a jury or a judge looks and sees a sign and go, man, that sign looks pretty in plain view, it's pretty big. He walked past that sign, I'm good. It gives you credibility and it makes the crime clearer. The defendant who also was why this was not a public videotape. Okay, maybe I missed that on earlier because I'm reading fast trying to scan through here, people. I'm trying to get the meat and potatoes and miss all the wherefore, how has, the fiat, here too, therefore, whatevers. Back to the mobile zone, we're doing that. Whereas your fact stated, a blank semi. Okay, you are therefore commanded to proceed. Search the items and include but not limited to it: a black semi-auto handgun, a GoPro camera. Where did the handgun come into? Did I miss something that somebody had a black handgun? You are hereby commanded to proceed. Enter and search said place for the following items. Did I miss somewhere where you were justifying why you're looking for a handgun? Because if a guy's just videotaping and spitting in your face, how does that get you to look for a handgun? Warrants have to be specific, and they have to be specific so you can't go on fishing expeditions. So you can't be saying I'm looking for a gun because a guy spit on me. Maybe I missed it, or maybe it's farther down. Let's see. Norinco rifle. Oh, man, he's got a nice AK. Norinco. Glock 19, 15-round mag, blah, 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 blah. 9mm Luger. Where the hell did all this come from? This is inventory. So we went from issuance, execution, warrant, hereon, fail not to, whatever shit. All right, it looks like this is what they found somewhere. Man, this warrant. See, to me, this warrant should flow. It should be very easy. It should tell a story. And as I'm going through here, I got a lot of questions and confusion. And I know somebody's going to say, well, that's because you didn't read the whole damn warrant. Why don't you read the whole damn warrant and then critique it? Well, because I didn't. Because I want to show people what goes through my mind, how to do it right. And if you don't freaking like it, don't click play and get the hell out of here with your stupid crying comments. You big pink panty badge wearing. Go out and write a freaking seatbelt ticket so you'll feel worthy of your badge and gun and stop freaking coming here harassing me and crying because I'm holding cops accountable. Let's see. Believe hereon. You're here to commanded Nikon, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Cable satellite, mobile phone hardware, peripherals, including secure DNA, okay. Search warrant, neon. I don't know. Is this what they found? Search warrant list. Is this a list of items found? Because it would be nice if it said that. Or is this a list of items you want to look for? It'd be nice if it said that. Let's see. Before the unassigned authority, my name is Detective Alex King, another detective. I'm a commissioned peace officer, City of Leon Valley, blah, 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 Department Property Room. Said evidence is described as follows, blah, blah, blah. It is the belief of a client that suspected list contains items constituting evidence of a felony in violation of Penal Code 4603. I didn't look that one up. Has been committed and said evidence described following: text message incoming, visual aid, blah, blah, blah. A client has probable cause for said belief by reason of the following facts. Okay, so here's where you're going to give us probable cause statement here. And I would have put probable cause statement. Heading to make it easy. Because when you're looking through this warrant, sometimes I don't want to hear all the repeat. I want to know what your qualifications are, what your probable cause is, what you're looking for, and where you want to look for it. And that's kind of what a warrant is supposed to be. You're a fine investigator, been a police officer for 16 years, as an active felony investigation, weapons prohibited, places. Oh, so now they're charging him because he was probably had a gun on when he did this, so now they're going to charge him with a gun not being authorized in that area. That's what I'm thinking. Serve, signed, magistrate. The above listed items were seized as part of an investigation of violation. The defendant, described as Jack Miller, part of an organized group known as First Amendment auditors. Man, cops are really going after these auditors. That's why I'm pro-auditor, and I'm pro-auditors that don't try to provoke and piss off cops, because if they can get you First Amendment auditors enough arrest they can say you're a criminal organization because we've arrested 15 of them and they all belong to the same organization and they're all doing the same crime, and try to go after you guys for some RICO crap. They won't go after illegals for that. They won't go after the politicians who are sending money for illegals crossing the border, but they'll damn sure go after a First Amendment auditor. I digress. The defendant engaged in open carry of weapons to draw attention to themselves from police. Really? That's why you talk about a bold-ass statement. This defendant engaged in open carry weapons to draw attention from police officers and the public. That is a huge statement. How the hell do you know he did that? Were you in his mind? Did he admit that that's why he had a gun? Or was he merely exercising his right to carry a gun? Man, that is some tyrannical BS freaking bootleg jackhammer, boot on the neck cop statement. These individuals. Oh, so now we got these, and I didn't think we could group people into like that. These individuals, what individuals? Those damn First Amendment guys have proven in the past that encounters they intentionally try to provoke a response from officers they might encounter. The defendant was found in possession of the list of things at his residence. So, the defendant was using various devices to videotape the encounter. This looks like, I thought I saw dates of 2018, so this must be an old case. I'd like to know if somebody knows how this outcome, or some of these people that they did a search warrant, what they did, did they herein fell not to, and all the other stuff they did. Let's see. Affiant for search warrant. I like headings like this. I don't know what the hell I'm reading. Peace officer, been employed 16 years, 2 years in investigative criminal investigative fine, participated in straight search warrant, property crimes, still violent crimes, persons have made arrests, recovered evidence, blah, 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 fine. Personally participated in the investigation. Well, okay. Let's see. There's it is the belief of the affiant. Why is it your belief? That the said suspect contained items constituting obstruction and retaliation, facts known to me, set forth, I believe, established probable cause, recording all violated visual data, mobile. Affiant has probable cause for said belief. The following, your affiant duly sworn police. Your affiant read officers arresting 2 persons. It is the belief that witnesses Joshua Russell recorded and live streamed, so he didn't commit a crime. Both defendants and witnesses are part of a group calling themselves. Man, this warrant is really trying to. You see how they keep tagging groups? These people, First Amendment auditors, they're trying to get you guys established as a domestic terrorist group. I guarantee you, I see the writing on the wall. I've done it for gangs, and they're doing it for First Amendment auditors. Oh, man. Texas is fallen. Viva Revolucion! Let's see. I'm sorry, I digress. I was just reading something else somewhere else. Let's see. The group has a purpose to get involved. Defendant were engaged in a protest. So, they were live streaming. So, during our broadcast channels, chief's personal identifying information, include names of residents, were displayed. I still don't understand how that's a crime. I'd like to know what penal code protects the police chief's address. Well, Rick, you don't understand. I don't understand. That's why I'm asking a question. And who's ever reading this warrant should have asked the question. And whoever puts this warrant in front of a jury, the jury ought to be asking the question. The indicted the other viewers of threats against police chief. This incited. Oh, so now they're saying those pesky First Amendment auditors incited viewers by videotaping and giving out addresses. They incited viewers to make death threats. Well, I'd like to know how did they do that, officer? Why are you going to make a statement like that and not say how they did it? While defendants were being arrested. See, we just skip over that. Well, I just said they did it. It's kind of like, Trump, the Russians helped Trump win the election. It doesn't have to be true. We'll just say it enough and idiots will believe it. The news media will run with it. Government will be seized as freaking smart and great, and we can go after somebody we don't like. Man, this is a slippery slope, people. Witnesses relinquish their recording based on my knowledge, training, and experience I've discussed. The list. Man, there's just a whole bunch of page I'm on, 54 or 137. You know what? I'm gonna put a copy of this warrant on my website so anybody can download it if you want to review it. I'm going in an hour. I think you have an idea on how to critically read and question a warrant. If there's any cops writing, I hope you see that when you write a warrant, you need to make it clear, easy to follow, and easy to read. I don't see a whole bunch of dates or times in here. I mean, at one point, we're talking about this arrest. At this point, we're talking about what we're seizing. Later on in the page, we're talking about what we did seize or didn't seize. This warrant is very difficult, and I read it right here live, and I had a hard time. I know somebody's going to be like, well, you can't read. And you don't. Well, whatever. I mean, somebody thinks I can read. I wrote a lot of warrants. I'm qualified as an expert, and I got a bachelor's degree and an associate's degree, so somebody said I can read somewhere, but go ahead. I don't care. If you want to say I can't read, that's okay too. Let's see. Detective King. I haven't seen a whole bunch of information. It just sounds like to me this is a big case against First Amendment auditors that they are going after. I wish I knew where page down was. There we go. That they are going after, and they are going to try to get and catch and label has one group, these people, this gang. They all have the same goals. They all do the same thing. You catch those little words and keys? Man, they're setting up a criminal organization that is out there committing crimes. Now the next step is, how are they making money? So the next step is going to be, they're committing crimes for personal gain. Well, what's their personal gain? Their personal gain is, we have advertisers and we post live and YouTube pays them money. Therefore, their videos are for gain. They're making their videos for gain by inciting police to arrest them and assault them. And it's their fault. Therefore, they're a criminal gang, and we should be able to arrest them as a gang enhancement. And because they carry a gun and they're excited, second, we'll also say they're carrying a gun while committing these crimes and going out and doing this. Man. Okay, it looks like we do have some photos, finally. A couple photos. Well, 2 photos on an iPhone, not much. Not a lot of exhibits, not a lot of reports. Man, Jefferson Moore signed all these warrants. On long warrants like that, you want to go to the same guy because he has the same information. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Sometimes you can't go to the same judge, and the new judge has to read it all over. So it takes, I mean, look how long would it take a judge to read this warrant? So you're going to be tying up a judge for a good 2 or 3 hours because he's going to have questions. He may want to take a break. He may have to go out to court, whatever. So you're going to have to be there for at least 2 hours, 3 hours for a judge to read this. That is, if the judge is reading it like they're supposed to, which I would say 75% don't. But anyway, this is the end of the warrant, people. So I will put a link to it. I'll put a link to this so you can download it from our website in the description. And we're at 1:02, and we'll go from there. Hopefully you got something out of this. I'm really not doing this to crack on these cops or to tear apart their warrants. I am kind of doing it to tear apart the warrant just to show you what a defense will do, what a judge will do, what a prosecutor will do. If you're a cop writing a warrant, how you better cover your butt. If you're a citizen and they do a warrant, you should know how to critically evaluate what they're putting, what questions to ask. If your defense attorney is lazy, maybe you can put a fire on his butt and go, why didn't you ask this? Why didn't you ask this? Why aren't they explaining this? I'm really about developing a critical mind and critical thinking, and not sheephood and not statehood and not government sanctioned extortion from who are supposed to be cops protecting and being peace officers, who have turned into government politician paid enforcers to enforce and protect government and to seize taxes from already overtaxed taxpayers. Because that's where Texas is going, and it's disgusting to me. But I digress. About search warrants. We'll end that there. Hope you got something out of it.